I don't know if you knew, but the demo for Game of the Year is out right now. Hey friends, it's Just the Gems. I'm Brandon. And yeah, I'm calling it right now. Trails in the Sky, second chapter, is Game of the Year. It is definitely Game of the Year. I don't know if Keely's going to agree with me, right? Jeff, if you're watching, at least take it into consideration maybe. But look, this game is incredible so far. I'm only about 2 hours in, so you might say, well, how do I know? How can I make that claim that I'm only 2? Come on, I know the game, guys. I've played Trails in the Sky back in the day. I know the story. I know everything that the first chapter did, and I know that the second chapter is going to do all that and more. So yeah, I'm comfortable calling it right now. This remake is better than the original game in every way. Does that sound like sacrilege? Maybe if you're a hardcore old school Trails fan, that sounds like sacrilege. I don't know. It's just true, man. Like, this game is just so much better than the original. It's also better than Sky the first chapter already. Just within this first 2 hours that I played of this demo, it's better than Sky first chapter. Let's talk about why. First and foremost, the thing that I noticed, the localization of second chapter is light years better than the way Sky first chapter started. Now, Sky first chapter, to be fair, it got better as the game went on. By the time you got to the end of Sky first chapter, I feel like the quality was quite a bit better than in the beginning. But Sky second chapter starts out incredibly solid right out of the gate. That was such a relief to see. I didn't cringe at any of the line readings or any of the writing from it's just like, it's such a relief to see that the writing has improved and that Gung Ho is really taking this seriously. So seriously, in fact, I don't know if you saw this, you probably did if you're on the internet and you are interested in Trails, but they just recently released the Legacy patch for Trails in the Sky first chapter, which includes a ton of completely redubbed and rewritten lines to better align first chapter with the lore of the rest of the series. That was something that I was very openly critical about when the original game came out, and it seems inconceivable that they went back and did this, but like something happened at Gung Ho, something changed, and they are firing on all cylinders now. So as much trepidation as I had in the beginning about Gung Ho, I feel like I have come around and I'm on board. Great job, guys. Great job. The combat, of course, is as tight as it ever has been. Honestly, it just proves that Falcom has basically become the best at turn-based combat. I don't think it's even close in terms of strategy and inventiveness and just the amount of things that you can do. Right? You've got your attacks, your overdrives, your S-crafts, your regular crafts, your arts. There's so many different types of abilities that you have in combat, and there's, ideal times to use all of them, right? You could, I guess, technically brute force your way through the game just using crafts or just using regular attacks or something. If you really wanted to, put it on easy mode or something, but this is a game that rewards you for using all of the tools that it gives you, and it gives you so many various and cool tools. So as good as the battle system in Sky first chapter was, this is more of that. As of where I'm at in the game right now, there's not a ton of new additions. You do have access to all of the end game or, closer to the end of the game abilities that you had, like burst mode or whatever, where you can attack as a team, something you didn't get till a little ways into first chapter. You start out with that because this is chronologically afterwards, so why wouldn't you have it, right? So that you do start out with some more. I'm assuming that we're going to get a little bit more as the game goes on. They surprised us in the first game. I would be surprised if they didn't surprise us in this one. I will say the action segments, of course, because you can choose. Oh, I should clarify in case you don't know. In the Trails series, it has a hybrid action and turn-based combat system. So you can engage with enemies on the field in action RPG combat, and you can at any time with the push of a button jump into turn-based. So the action RPG combat, I will say, like in all the other Trails games that use this system, it's not as robust as a full-on action RPG, but it's still fun and involved enough that it remains entertaining throughout the whole time. It is very satisfying to, as Estelle, jump into a big horde of enemies and just swing your staff around and knock them all out. That's a lot of fun. Now, I already mentioned that I think the remake is better than the OG Sky second chapter in every way. All the ways that I said. It's better in combat, it's better in music. The localization, if not better, is at least closer to being on par with the original. Like, that was my biggest concern, was that would fall short. Everything else was so great, but I feel like it's coming close, if not hitting that high bar that was set by Xseed back in the day. So it remains to be seen. Of course, I've got quite a ways to go in the game yet, but from what I've seen, they are basically on par with that. Some different choices, right? You've got Estelle's what? Which is something that I'm never going to get used to. That's something that that's a hill I will die on. That's incorrect. She should not say what like that. That's wrong. I get that that's literally what she's saying in Japanese, but that's not what she's saying. If you know Japanese, it doesn't matter. Anyway, it's on par. It's good. It's a good localization. It's really good. But I will say, the thing that surprised me the most playing the first couple of hours of the demo of Sky Second Chapter Remake is that it is so much better in how it conveys emotion. I don't know if you've noticed this, but I definitely have. As you get older, it can get harder to feel. Obviously, I'm not talking about like my aching bones. I feel those just fine. I feel those all the time. Right now, I got a crick in my neck that's killing me, but that's just being in your 40s. But what I mean is the emotions that I feel over a piece of media. Like, if I go back to a piece of media that I have experienced over and over and over the years, especially one from like way back when I was a kid, right? I feel like I start to notice the scenes in the games that I played, for example, Final Fantasy VI or Chrono Trigger, whatever. I noticed that those scenes that I found super powerful at the time start to lose some of that power every time I see them. And I mean, that makes sense, right? Like, I'm not saying anything shocking or revolutionary. Like, when you play through a game multiple times, like, obviously you know what's going to happen in the story, so the surprise element is always going to be gone. But also, like, my life is different now. My circumstances have changed. I'm going to see this piece of media, this scene within this game, differently than I saw it when I was a teenager, when I was in my 20s. It's just not realistic to expect it to hit me the exact same way. So, speaking of those old games, and I'm going to include the original Trails in the Sky SC as one of those old games because, it came out, was it mid-2000s? Like, it's a pretty old game. How did SC convey emotion? It really only could do it through text and through just static character portraits and through music. The little sprites on screen, the little Playmobil sprites, they look like Playmobil characters, right? Like, you can see that, right? They look like Playmobil. I hate it. I hate the design of those sprites. Some people talk about liking them. I don't understand it. It's the least inspired. I just don't like them. Let me know in the comments if you think I'm wrong. I sound off in the comments. Are you team Playmobil sprites, or are you team anything but that? Because I just really think they look atrocious, personally. Anyway, those little sprites didn't do a good job of emoting, right? Like, they didn't really help much. They had limited animation. They had tiny little subby little arms and legs and walked all stiff. Like, it wasn't doing much heavy lifting, conveying emotion in the games that we were playing in that particular game. As a kid and as a younger adult, I only ever had that sort of experience when it came to games. So I didn't think anything of that, and I still found myself super affected by games like that, especially by Trails in the Sky SC. Like, Trails in the Sky SC is one of the most beautiful, moving, heartwarming games that exists. And it definitely really, really moved me when I played it. But I've now replayed Sky SC, the original game, several times. 5 times? 6? I don't know. Several times I've replayed Sky SC. And like I said, the emotional impact of certain scenes has just decreased over time. Like, every time I go back and replay the game, video gaming has advanced a decent bit, right? Graphics have gotten better. Performances from actors have improved, direction, like lighting, music, everything in games has been getting better. the presentation and the way that they engage with us emotionally. And so going back to these older games, it just kind of, you lose some of that. But the thing about this remake, and the first chapter as well, although I think that second chapter has way more like heavy emotional scenes than first, but the remake rejuvenates that emotional impact. The case in point for me, the point where I realized this is what's happening and was able to kind of put words to it, was very early on in the demo. Like if you pick up the demo, it's 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes into the demo. I'm talking about Estelle's breakdown on the airship. So yeah, like I say, a few minutes into the game, we're picking up immediately after that just enormous gut-wrenching cliffhanger from last year when the first game ended. She's on the airship, she's going home, and she's talking to Father Kevin, our new character who's come along, and he's got a green onion head, and he's cool, and he's funny, and he's flirting with her, which is a little weird because I think he's in his 20s and she's 16. He should be able to tell that. I don't know, I guess anime characters all look the same age unless they make them look super old. But whatever, he's trying to be nice. He can see she's upset. He's trying to cheer her up. And she, finds him funny. She's able to kind of relax a little bit. And then she lets her guard down by accident. I don't think she really seems to. She seems kind of caught off guard by how all of a sudden she's overwhelmed by emotion. And she ends up just bawling her eyes out on the deck of the airship. And Kevin's, there trying to comfort her. And she just is sobbing. And I remember, and this is the same in the original game, the music that starts playing doesn't feel like it fits the emotion of the scene. It's kind of like a uplifting, it's like a positive song. It doesn't feel like the sad cellos or whatever that you'd be normally hearing in this sort of scene. And that always struck me as a little odd in the original game, but it still felt powerful. It was still like a powerful scene. The remake does it all the same way, but obviously using the character models and the voice acting and the direction of the scene to further emphasize the emotionality of it. And it plays the same song even. Like it's still, if you really think about it, like that seems like a weird fit. But I found myself like getting a little choked up about it, watching this scene play out, this scene that I had witnessed a bunch of times over the years in its original format. But watching it now with the performances of the actors and the direction and everything, like it just hit me in such a new way. I knew the lines basically by heart. They're slightly different, of course, from the original, but I feel like I could have read them along with the characters. But still, it hit me in a way that it hadn't since the first time, maybe even more so than the first time. One of the things that I've heard some people complain about with the remake is how they've gotten rid of the character portraits that would, display over the text boxes in the original game, and how it's a shame that they got rid of those because of how much emotion they showed. Like they're funny, they're interesting. And I get that. Like they are a cool part of the original game. But like, if you have that complaint, I have to ask, like, you understand why they got rid of them though, right? Like the character portraits were a solution to a problem they had. It was a pretty easy solution to a pretty tricky problem, which is the fact that the janky little Playmobil sprites couldn't show emotion, so they would use the character portraits to demonstrate what the character was feeling as their line was, written out. But now we have characters' entire faces that animate beautifully. Like we're getting those expressions. We're just getting them on the faces of the characters as they animate. Like we're seeing their emotions in the context of their faces and bodies. Like it makes them feel so much more alive than a portrait ever could. Like, again, nothing against the portraits. The portraits were nice. The presentation of the original game in general was nice. I'm not saying it wasn't. In fact, I'm pretty sure I said it really impacted me, right? I'm just saying this is better. This is why I think drastically remaking a game like this can be so damn good. It can take the good stuff in the original and just elevate that material so much and break through the emotional calluses we've developed over the years. Life has dragged us through the mud and we don't feel anymore. But Sky Second Chapter is making me feel, and I feel like it's going to make you feel. So you should probably download the demo. Please go download the demo. It's a big chunk of the game, just like Sky First Chapter gave us a big chunk of the beginning of the game. This is a big hearty chunk of the start of Second Chapter. And you can of course carry your save data over when the full game comes out in like less than a month. Is it around a month? I don't know. It's just a matter of weeks, and you'll be able to play the full game anyway. But you might as well get a head start now, because why wait? You know what? People are going to want to talk about it online. Don't be left behind. Play the demo so that you can engage in the conversation with everyone on X, the Everything app, or Blue Sky, or Instagram, or TikTok. Do you use TikTok? I can't figure TikTok out. I'm too old and emotionally calloused. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I do hope that you will check out the demo. Let me know what you think of it, of course, down in the comments. If you are interested in podcasts about JRPGs, check out mine. It's called the JRPG Pursuit. We talk about JRPGs every single week, and the link to that is down in the description. So I would love it if you would go and subscribe, because you'll have fun, I promise. All right, with that, I'll talk to you later. Bye.